I'm almost 37 years old and I'm trying to learn how to drive, which is kind of very late. And in about less than a few months, I'm going to be a dad. So it's kind of my responsibility to know how to drive. So you must be wondering, why did I wait that long? Well, when I was a kid, I never had to learn how to drive because it's always somebody to take me anywhere. Then I lived in Sydney forever, and public transport over there was pretty freaking awesome. Like you never had to drive pretty much anywhere. So kind of was not the necessity at the time. And I was kind of like it was an excuse for being green because, more you use public transport is better for the environment kind of thing. And then I came to France after that, and then, public transport was not as good as before, but was kind of manageable, put it that way. And then I came to this island called Reunion Island, which is the French territory. So you must be wondering that probably should be as good as the main metropolitan of France or Europe. Not really. You kind of obliged to have a car, otherwise you are pretty much blocked. Luckily, where I live, I work in the same city. I live in the same city, and I have all the necessity, including the pharmacy to supermarkets all around the area, so it's not a problem. However, it was getting obvious that I gotta know how to learn how to drive, and especially if it's possible to take my wife when necessary to take it to the emergency, or my kid in future. So that brought me to the reality that, I think the time has come. Now, I gotta be honest, it was horrible, excruciating, exhausting, fearful, full of anxiety full of journey. I had to learn the road rules, had to pass the exam in a foreign language. If it's not difficult enough, which I did in the first exam, I did 38 out of 40, which is fantastic. Proud of myself. But I'm not going to tell you that it's easy. It's fucking hard. And then if it's not enough, then you need to actually learn how to drive. Now, this car, the one that we have, which is a manual car, hybrid. However, I'm learning how to drive manual. Now you'll be wondering, why would you do that? Why you make your life hard already? It's because that it's always good to learn how to drive manual, because in France, in Europe, still manual cars are pretty dominant. And if I just learn how to drive automatic, then problem is that if I have to drive for work, and if I'm using a colleague's car, then my driving skill would be useless. Not only that, then it will help me to change my jobs whenever I need, because I'm pretty sure that most of the people will ask me, do I have a driving license and what kind of car I can drive? And it's kind of easy also to choose my car, because if I buy a cheaper car, manual, and it's kind of easy to save some money, where hybrid or automatic car by default tend to be a bit more expensive, especially where I live. I don't know about the rest of the world, but in my world, they tend to be very, very expensive. Doesn't matter how many kilometers the car has got. Now, the experience about my driving lessons. Now, this is the fun part. My wife did tell me when I was complaining about, this is boring, about learning about the road rules and passing the exam is difficult. My wife told me that, that's the easy part. The hardest part would be to learn how to drive itself. And I know exactly what she meant by that, because you have no idea, first of all, getting into a driving school where majority of them are under 16, under 18. They have all baby faces, where I'm like a dad there. And As much as I'm proud of myself and I shouldn't be embarrassed, but I did feel quite embarrassed. I'm going to be honest with myself. And followed by of course, you would be surprised when how many people ask me that, how come you don't know how to drive? Repeatedly. Well, if it's not enough, then actual driving license where today I think I paid for 20 hours, even though 20 hours is the minimum requirements, and then followed by you have to pay extra. And the way I'm going, I believe I need at least 30 to, if not 40 hours of driving license just to be good on the road. And so far, I believe I'm at my 8th hour, 7th hour or 8th hour. I am struggling. I am struggling a lot. I finally at least have the idea how to stay on the lane properly. Even though my instructor constantly telling me to, don't hold the wheel too hard, let it loose, let it go itself, because generally, apparently, the car tend to be fixing its trajectory on its own. And time to time, I need to use it, depends on how the car is moving. But generally, I don't have to hold it hard, which I know, and I've seen many videos on YouTube. Trust me, it doesn't work. You still will be facing the reality, and the reality is you are responsible for yourself. You are responsible for the cars and the other vehicles are passing by. You are responsible for the passengers and other people's stupidity, including yourself. And that constantly freaking me out, even though I'm taking like 1 hour driving. After 1 hour, I am gone flat out, and it's just difficult to get back to my normal state and focus on my rest of the day activity. And I gotta tell you that it's exhausting, and I'm constantly using "and" a lot. I have to stop using that. However, there is another problem, which is my car is blinking for whatever. What are you saying? I don't know. I need to learn how to drive it. Where was I? So the anxiety, it's a combination of what I was feeling. Is a combination of anxiety. My ego is being touched constantly. I feel like I'm hopeless. I'm helpless. What else? All the things that possible, like most vulnerable. And I should know better to recover from this kind of feeling, because this is not the first time I felt that hopeless, alone, and vulnerable in my life. Because I've been living overseas for 15 years, and every time I'm going somewhere, I felt exact same thing. Learning the new languages, the system. I don't know where to start. I don't know where to end. I don't know where to go when I need help. I don't know who to trust, except only person that I had to help me was my still today wife and her parents. That it doesn't really help you. I'm telling you now, because when you are living around a society with your entourage, friends and everybody, and then all of a sudden you're dependent on few people, and you feel like that you are asking for help constantly, that's not very good. It's easy to say that don't worry, we are there for you. But as an adult, I should be able to help myself. And as much as people say that don't be shy to ask for help, I am shy and my ego constantly touched when I ask for help. And believe me, I'm not the only one. I'm saying it out loud. But a lot of people do feel like that. They don't say it, they do. Well, then now recently I did some Google search on other to know about other people's experience on how they felt when they start learn how to drive, how long did it take for them to learn how to drive, etc., etc., etc. Mostly the responses from US, and I understood that in US the roads are pretty easy, so they tend to learn pretty fast, and the majority, not everyone, but the majority do drive automatic. So that's another benefit. But around the globe, generally they take about 30 to 40 hours, which makes sense that probably I'm going to take exactly the same. I remind you that where I live is also mountainous, so there is a lot of what's the English for virage? I cannot believe that I'm forgetting my English. It's like a lot of zigzag and literally going up hill and then turning harsh left or right, or really harsh down. It's crazy. Learning to know how to drive in this situation, it doesn't really help you on top of your incompetence and psychological vulnerability. So I did some Google search, as I was going to say earlier, and it turned out that it's normal, that kind of feeling, and there are literally no way around other than facing that fear again, just like I did when I was learning how to speak French, literally from the scratch. Same I did with English. Same I did with my first job in a foreign country with a foreign language with brand new people that don't know me. And I feel like that they're judging me constantly because of where I'm from, could be from my skin color, who knows. I was trying to find all the excuses to make me feel bad about myself. So this is exactly all over again, exact same thing. It's like a wave constantly. And this kind of made me kind of philosophical in a sense that, life, when they say that life is always hard and get used to it, you actually don't have any other way other than facing your difficulty and then just move on to the next one. Once you are done with the first difficulty, there is always going to be difficulty. Nothing can stop it. So easy to just, it would be a lot easier to learn how to face it and embrace it and probably look back and think about this memory and then laugh about it or make a good story out of it. So that's the only way. There is no other way than facing your fear. So I wish you all the best and wish me luck. Take care.